real time, Howard.
I say.
Okay, we're live.
Hey, everybody. It's Howard Chaykin, and I'm here on Splash Pages. And
of course, is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm behind the keyboard here. We have an amazing show scheduled for you as always, and we're going to do it a little differently today. Jar Jar, how's it going, bud?
It's going great. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Great show in front of us. Also a very short show, it's going to seem. So all in all, it's going to be a pretty good show. So on to Drew.
Mr. Drew.
Thank you, Jar. I'm Drew. It's Tuesday. We're so glad to have you. We have an absolutely fantastic guest who's going to dazzle us with all of his stories and such. But take it from me, we're going to let Carrie continue the story. So on to you, Carrie.
Hey, Drew. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Rad Tasker and I are here. We're super excited about tonight's guest. We have been for a while. And without further ado, I would like to let you know our guest this evening is easily one of the most smartest creators in comics, which shows in both his writing and general themes. Whilst you can catch some of his work in the mainstream, you're totally denying yourself some pretty special and mind-blowing material if you don't read his personal creations, such as the breakthrough award-winning American Flag, Time Squared, Black Kiss, Twilight, and a bunch of other work. He's also worked in television, like on the 1990s Flash series, as well as Mutant X in 2001. With his tales of future dystopic slices of life, strange politics, and absolutely divine filth, he dazzles us with his storytelling, both with words and art. Please welcome one of our modern bards and a true comic book prince, Howard Victor Chaykin, everyone.
Wow. The honors that Howard was just given.
Well, I mean, understand, being called the smartest guy in comics is like a really fucking low bar. I mean,
But
I mean, honestly, it's a cheap trick, and most of us can do it. You know, how can I be of service?
Well, let's get right into it, huh, guys? Who wants to go first?
I think Carrie should go first because if memory serves, Carrie is the only one of us that's ever had Howard sing to her. So
Yeah,
that is it was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. And you got a hug, but and it's so funny because Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, when you saw Howard at this year's Terrificon, which was an absolutely amazing event, you gave him a gift, right? What was that about?
Oh, the gift was the book for Minstrel to Mojo, and from Alan Lowe. I love American music, and I love American popular music, but not popular music. I love popular music from the 19th and early 20th century, and Carrie nailed me to the cross with that fucking book.
Oh yeah,
it's a great. I've been listening to one of Lowe's other collections, that Devlin tune, these past couple of weeks, and really grateful. And I rarely accept gifts from people at conventions because I travel very light. I rarely take things home, but it's sitting right there.
Carrie, you made the library. You made the Howard Chaykin Library. What honors?
Just calm down.
Well, I did have one question, Howard, because I was looking over your extensive bio and trying to find something to ask. I mean, you had such a wonderful career, but I'm all, and these guys can answer, I'm all about
a wonderful career, but it's
still there. I'm all about comic book origins, and I was fascinated to learn, like, you were barely 21 and you got to work as an assistant for the late great Gil Kane.
Yeah,
I was working when I was 18.
Okay, so
I mean, I was a punk kid with hair down on my shoulders working for Gil.
So. And what was that like? I mean, that was like your one of your first comic jobs, right? And you're working for this, again, someone that you named as one of your greatest influences. So
well, I wouldn't say an influence. I mean, he taught me how to do what I do for a living, but I don't draw anything like Gil. I don't really think like Gil. But I did a guy approached me by doing some questions about Jews in comics some months back, and it slipped through the cracks. I got to it today. One of the things I said in the note is that I'm pretty sure that Gil hired me because I was Jewish, and that he could talk shit about Gentiles in my company with no fear of approbation. I'm not being facetious. I'm quite serious.
Right.
Gil was a classic example of a guy who, as a younger man, had a nose like a toucan and looked like an anti-Semitic movie poster. Nose job in the late 40s, early 50s, and transformed himself into a New Yorker cartoon. And once that happened, once that transformation had been enacted, he became hypersensitive about his own Judaism, and it's something that I found really interesting and intriguing. I was 18. I was a smart ass. I was very intimidated by him because he was he really seemed pulled together in so many ways that I couldn't imagine myself ever being. And I've come to understand that he was a complete, he's guilty of everything anyone's ever accused him of. He was a thief, a liar, a cheat, and all this other stuff. But I still feel I learned more, and I owe more of my career to sitting and watching him work than any of the actual hands-on work I did for anyone else. I spent much of my early career fearing that I would end up like Wallace Wood and hoping I would end up like Gil Kane. And he was just an interesting character. But again, I mean, I don't operate in that same hyperbolic state of mind that his work did. Gil was so completely obsessed with the nexus of Jack Kirby and Bernard Hogarth that there was no room for quiet moments or subtlety. Everything was poised into action, and that sort of stuff intrigued me, delighted me when I was a kid. But the older I get, the less interested I am in it.
Okay, thank you. Great. I had another one, but guys, if you had another question, I mean, I don't want to.
I just have to say I love the analogies of Gil Kane, like the anti-Semitic cartoons and stuff. I'm just like, that is hilarious. Oh yeah. You grew up in New York and Queens and stuff, right?
Oh, Brooklyn and Queens, yeah.
Yeah, Brooklyn and Queens. During your beginning comic years and stuff like that, am I wrong? Were you living with other artists and writers?
I never roomed with anyone. I always lived alone. I lived nearby. I had neighbors. I lived across the street from Walter Simonson.
Okay.
And when I moved to Queens, I lived in the same building as Wrightson and Walter and Alan Milgram. But I always lived alone. I had a sex life, and I intended roommates had to interfere with that.
Very true.
You know, Jar, that's exactly the question I was going to ask, because I remember reading it. I was like Milgram, Simonson, and the late great Bernie Wrightson, and I had worked on a project highlighting Wrightson's career when I like all the stories, and he just sounded like the nicest, one of the most talented people ever, but just such a sweetheart. And I remember reading something about you guys would just like hang out, get together like 3 a.m, just sit up and talk, popcorn and stuff.
Wrightson was intimidating in his talent. He was incredibly gifted. Thankfully, he was a moron. So that he was. I mean, he basically, not thankfully. It's horrible to say, but
we know.
The reality is his skill sets were never put to the service of saving his own life. The very fact that someone who was as brilliant as his work was died in poverty, is an indication of just the fact that he did not have a thoughtful reckoning of his own value and his own presence in the world. And I always regretted when I was a younger man that I wasn't as skilled or talented as he was, but I'm still here. And, I didn't kill myself, and I didn't allow myself to die. But I think that to a profound degree, talent in comics is wildly overrated. What matters is grinding and skill, and that's where I am at. That's why I'm still here. I mean, I'm not of any real value to the mainstream comic book companies because I don't do the kind of work that they care about or interested in. But I have no illusion about how good I am. I know how good I am, but I also know that I'm not particularly interested in being good the way the audience wants me to be good. It's a different set of standards.
Okay.
How long have you been married for, Howard? Oh, I'm sorry, carry on.
This time?
This time, sir.
My wife and I have been married for 23 years. We've been together for 33 years. But she's my fourth wife. I was a cockeyed optimist, and
wow.
I was much more fuckable looking when I was younger, and I was my first wife became Starlin's first wife when two years after we split up. My second wife is somewhere in the Midwest or somewhere else. I have no idea, hating me, hoping I'm dead, hoping I'll die. My third wife died a couple of years ago, but we had been separated for some time. But yeah, I spent a lot of time practicing, and I finally got it right.
Well, 33 years is nothing to shake a stick at. That's
Jesus.
I've just gone with long engagements and no marriages, and it's worked out really like 8-year-long relationship, no paperwork. I'm good. It's over. Okay.
Well, my wife and I get along. One of the reasons is she has absolutely no idea or interest in what I do for a living, which is a really good thing. She has never read a comic book in her life. She couldn't care less about them, and I really am grateful for that. I really am, because I never get unsolicited advice or suggestions that I don't care about, and she lets me do my life, and I let her do hers. It's good.
Leo, this sounds very much like you.
Gives me hope.
I
was going to say, me and Emily have the same kind of thing. She could care less about my toys, my comic books, my watching. I'm watching G.I. Joe right now. She's just like, as long as I don't have to be involved, do what you want. And I'm the same way with her stuff. I'm like, There
you go.
I would draw G.I. Joe stuff. I'm sorry.
I just got nostalgia for the old cartoon. I don't know what it is. It's not very good.
I mean, I have to remember and remind myself that one of the things that drives me nuts about, people like Philip Roth or Drew Friedman, as talents I really admire, is that their contempt for sort of, pop culture kitsch, while at the same time the adoration they bring to the love of the aspects of pop culture and kitsch that they love. Like Roth was a guy who had utter contempt for musical theater, but baseball. And Drew, who's an astonishingly talented guy, seems to feel utter contempt for mainstream comics, but all Jewish comedians, and it's just a matter of measure. So I have to remind myself not to be that way, and I will not make fun of you watching G.I. Joe again. But in my mind,
it's okay. I've been through the ringer. It doesn't hurt my feelings anymore.
Got to go through the ringer. You've never been on the receiving end of a twat like me.
Carrie had something first.
Yeah, Carrie.
Actually,
Carrie,
Leo had something before I did.
Oh man,
okay.
Leo. Oh,
I did.
I did you?
You started saying something. I thought.
Get your shit together there, pal.
If you don't, I do have something. I kind of mentioned this at Terrificon, but everybody was in a hurry and taking off when I got a chance to sit and chat with you for just a second there. And it started with reading American Flag, and then also in Times Squared. And everything you write, you have. I think I compared it a bit to Clockwork Orange. The way that you write you have your own very specific kind of, not really made up language. You have some futuristic terms and stuff that you'll use, but you also have a combination of different languages in slang and stuff that you like to throw into stuff. Like I've noticed there'll be like Yiddish as well as French, as well as some other stuff. And you kind of just throw that all in. And I admit I did have to translate some because I don't speak all the languages, and they're pretty obvious what it means, but sometimes I think you're a little sneaky with it. So what is that how you normally speak? Or
I anecdotally, I just saw the new P.T. Anderson picture this past Sunday. And one of the things I liked about it was that it didn't bother explaining itself at any point. And I'm a great believer in not bothering to explain myself at any point. There are a lot of frauds and hacks and charlatans working in mainstream comic books who will tell you, the audience, will justify the work they do, and you'll buy it. And I don't really feel any particular need to explain myself in any way, shape, or form. When I read and I find something I don't know anything about, I look it up, and I'm curious about being challenged. And most comic books don't challenge, and most comic book fans don't want to be challenged. They want to be pandered to and patronized and told that their taste when they were 12 is perfectly acceptable into their 60s.
Very true.
And I'm not that guy. I like the idea of playing with. I like puns. I like plays on words. I like visual puns, and I feel that to a profound extent, modern culture is instrumental in diminishing the value of challenge, and that the work that I do, I work in comic books. I mean, comic books is a frivolous medium, which is difficult to produce well. And I try to do the best I can with the work I'm working on. Right now, I'm writing a new American Flag story, and I've been instructed by my editor to overwrite like I used to, which is a difficult thing for me to identify with. I mean, it's trying to be. I'll be 75 in a couple of days, and he's asking me to think like I did when I was 32. And it's hard. It's really hard because I'm much more streamlined. I'm much more simplified and direct. But I will do my best to do precisely that because I take him very seriously in his suggestions. So I like to fuck around with people in my work because it's fun. Anybody can read super duper shit, and mutant monster laser space. And I don't give a do what you want. You go G.I. Joe. I'm fine with that. But when you come to me, what you're going to get is a more challenging and different and odd experience. As I've said more than once, too weird for the mainstream and too mainstream for the weird. And that's sort of where I live. I'm in that middle no friend zone. There you go.
There you go.
So with the new American flag that you're going to be working on, any ideas of where you might go with it?
Oh yeah, I mean in terms of the story, where it's going to be published.
Story.
Oh, it's basically I'm not going to tell you what the story's about. I mean it's
I know, just a little hint.
It's about theme parks.
Oh,
interesting.
And, pardon me. Sorry,
I said interesting.
it's about theme parks. It'll be in the American Flag Omnibus will be out next summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a new 24-page piece, including a new cover for the story because the story should have a cover. And I'm doing it. My editor has seen look at that. I've got a cobweb. My editor has seen the breakdown, but I've already moved into the panel breakdown. I work very geometrically. I do, from a page to a panel breakdown to the last process is dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just did for Zorro for the Zorro franchise, which I don't know whether it'll ever appear in English. I just delivered my first piece of short fiction, but I'm not done mainstream straight up fiction since I was in high school. It was very challenging. It was very scary to do this, and I did that. And I'm sort of sitting on my hands right now because I'm leaving for Greensboro, North Carolina on Friday, and I don't have anything to draw. That's why I dove into the flag script, because I really wanted to keep myself busy.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you challenging yourself, like with all this stuff? Is it just the fear of falling into like unknown, or?
Well, I left comics when I came back to comics in the early aughts after I lost my last TV job. I had no idea whether I could do it again. I had not drawn in years. I had no idea whether my chops were in any kind of shape. What I discovered was that they were fine, but that I had also developed a lack of concern about embarrassing myself in public. And I realized that I had a skill set enough that would carry me without a net, and that I could do. I put myself in a position of drawing things and writing things that I had not done before. I don't subscribe to the notion that superhero comics are the real reason why we're here. I think they're here. The real reason that superhero comics are why that way is because any real challenge was driven out of the comic book business in 1954 when the Comics Code came in. And I prefer to do material that addresses other genres, other ideas, and has fun with those ideas and those genres. But I have nothing to prove. That's one of the really lovely things about my life. I mean, I aged out of Marvel and DC in 2012 or so, and I don't solicit work. No, if you want, they know where to find me. I'm not really particularly interested in convincing anybody else to give me a job, because I don't need to, and I work because I choose to work. I don't play golf. I don't play tennis. I don't fish. So this keeps me. This get up in the morning. I do my morning stuff, and then I move on. You can find the prose piece in a new Kickstarter crowdfunder. Crowdfunding is the generic. Kickstarter is their brand. Some indie comics collection. I have no idea where it's going to be yet. I don't know. I just did it, and frankly, I was intimidated by the process because I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea how to write that stuff anymore because I've been writing for pictures for so long. But it was satisfying. It's okay. I'm not sure genius, but it's okay. And just doing what I'm doing.
Hey, that's what matters.
Since you released Black Kiss in the omnibus form, which is gorgeous, by the way. Oh my God, am I in love with this book? I can't really show many pages off of it because I don't want to accidentally get us kicked off the air. But
pretty filthy.
But you've been putting up on Facebook a lot of solicitations just for private commissions. Are you still working on that? Are people able
Yes.
to still come at you? Okay.
Yes.
Wanted to make sure if people are looking, they know they can send work your way.
I was while I was writing, I wanted to keep drawing, and what kept me drawing was doing these commissions. I've done some filthy stuff, some not salacious stuff, some sweet stuff. So it's what started out as a solicitation for filth devolved into went from X to R to PG, and it's just look at that. Oh my gosh, I worked really hard.
There you go, Leo. Again, be careful.
Oh, yeah, that's why I keep on popping off. It's
I didn't want to be like a comic book lifeguard, like, hey, buddy, be careful over there.
I would stop right. I would stop right.
Yeah.
Howard said, chill.
Let people pay for it.
Yeah, let them support more.
And I'm grateful that I was able to convince them to drop the price. They originally wanted to sell it for $49.95. I convinced them to bring it down to $39.95 because I felt that it was a better value at that price.
There you go.
That is a great price. Good Lord.
Yeah. So, Carrie, did you have anything else? Because I had something I wanted.
Oh yeah, go.
Okay, cool.
I have plenty, but go for it.
Yeah. So Howard, as I was saying before the show, one of my favorite things that I have of yours is one of your Elseworlds, which was the Batman Houdini Devil's Workshop that you did with, I believe, John Francis Moore and Mark Chiarello, which it's a beautiful book. And as a person with a degree in history, just the research that you and your collaborator did was fantastic. But I'm also I'm a big Houdini fan. I did my undergrad on Harry. And rereading it had been a minute. The research was just fantastic. How you were able to create this beautiful, 1907 Gotham, and just have the personalities just mesh so well. In terms of that, how much of it was like research you did and then John, and was there anything particular that was your idea? Like when you're doing an Elseworld like that, like how did you find the balance?
Well, I love research. I love visual research and I love textual research.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of reading about the material. I also I was obsessed, and I remember. I mean, for example, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be in Baltimore, and after Baltimore, I'm going to go up to New York City. While I'm in New York City, I'm seeing When It Is a Social Club again, and I'm seeing Just in Time with Jonathan Groff as Bobby Darin again. But I'm also seeing the latest reproduction of Ragtime.
Nice.
Now Ragtime, it's a musical. I saw the original production at the Schubert. Well, I saw the Kennedy production, which was a reduced production some years back. That was astonishing. I found no traction. And the thing about Ragtime, I recently reread the novel and saw the movie again for the first time in years. I hated the movie when it first came out in theaters, and I liked the movie a great deal in second viewing. And it brought to mind the fact that you may not be aware of this. Speaking of Houdini, that when Robert Altman was going to direct the film version with the screenplay co-written by him and E.L. Doctorow, they wanted John Belushi to play Harry Houdini, which I thought would have been phenomenal. I really do. I truly do. Because the Houdini has never been successfully portrayed on film as the the small, kind of crafty, wiry character that he was.
Right.
And I loved Houdini's debunking of mediums. The fact that like the amazing Randy after him, he just went and his reasons for doing so was find actually find someone who could communicate with his mother, which I found really creepy and weird. And as we said beforehand before we came on, learning that to a great extent, very likely Tom Mix was responsible for Houdini's early days. Purely accidentally. I don't think it was a conscious.
No,
just is an absolutely astonishing little piece of work that I kind of dug.
no, absolutely. And the whole thing, like, again, like, I loved, like, there were little things of yours that I was like, oh my God, that was so great. Like, you had, for instance, in the medium scene where you had with Lenora, you said the Green Arrow is there, Oliver Queen is there, John Constantine is there, and you're like, oh my God, like, again, subtle. And even the thing that I loved is that this version of Batman, his Alfred was African American, and they're even talking about how they avoided, like, oh, we didn't really like going in the South. It's just these little differences that I like, just thinking of, wow, that is so great. And then of course it's beautifully drawn by Mark. I mean, the visuals were just fantastic.
I was so pissed that Chihuahua didn't do continuity for years. He was so good. He did really a lovely job. And I'm in touch with Mark pretty regularly. I mean, I'm wearing my Gentleman of Leisure shirt, which is a social club of which we are both members. And and he finally he started doing some continuity again recently. So I'm really grateful for that. His stuff is just terrific. Really.
Oh nice. Yeah. I just want to say again, like, the little moments were great. Like, even I think it was like that you acknowledged his ego and whatnot, which Harry Houdini, I mean, if he had any vice, he just, his ego was really his downfall, if anything. But the one moment I think what?
In Tom Mix.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. But also like, I think it was the moment where he's trying to pick a lock and it's like, are you always a wise ass? I was like, yeah, it comes with the personality. Like, it's just the entire thing. And I was like just at the end, like, oh yes, that he had that after word moment, and then even that little nod, like, oh, that was the last time I heard of Senator Wayne. I'm like, oh my God, like, was it ever just a one shot, or did you ever consider doing another?
There was never no intention of anything beyond that.
Okay.
It was. I love the era. I love the period. I mean, this prose piece I did takes place in that era.
Okay.
I mean, I love the first decade of the 20th century is among my favorite years because it's when modern culture was invented. Everything sort of came to play, with the from the early aughts, like 1905,
right,
and then the First World War introduces mechanized warfare, and out of that mechanized warfare comes everything. Raymond Loewy is an officer in the French army who develops a lifelong interest in pacifism, and is convinced that designing a world can make a world that is more united. And the naivete of that is just so beautiful and lovely. Okay. And I love that era. And it's, my grandparents came over in 1900, and I did the artwork for a book for the Tenement Museum in New York City that was written by Paul Levitz about the Jewish immigrant experience in 1890 to 1905. And I had the most fabulous time doing research on this work. Right. Orchard Street and all that stuff. So yeah, I love that shit so much. Well,
I just, again, that's one of my favorite Elseworlds. I have my own copy. I had you sign it, years ago. And again, I hype that out to any fan I know who's a fan of history and such. I was like, you don't have to be a Batman fan. You will love this book. It's one of the best, hands down. So I just wanted to
question. Bradford Tree. No, it's not, Brad. Mr. Smarty Pants. But I'll send you a copy. I'll send you some JPEGs, or a PDF. So that's a deal.
Yeah.
So you started out in comics, moved to TV, and then went back into comics. How much of a difference is it working in the two different mediums?
Well, I moved to California simply because I recognized the fact that I had no prospects in comics. That I was going to be living on Social Security and cat food. Because as good as I knew I was not a commercial property, and I was never going to make any real money in comics. I had to find some other income stream to make it possible for me to live. And I moved to California for that reason, because I had some attention directed at me because of American Flag. And I ended up working, and I wrote a couple of movies nobody ever made, but they were like scholarships to film writing school. And I ended up starting in television, and I worked in TV for 12 years on staff. And I worked on stuff I'd never watch, but I gave them the best work I could. And to a profound extent, writing in television taught me a great deal about how to write comics. Because the television I was working in no longer exists. I was working in incredibly low budget, shitty stuff. And your job was to service your standing sets and your cast, to spend as little money as possible outside of that realm. And it's taught me economy. And the experience of writing shitty TV made my focus in my narrative much more confined and defined. I was talking to someone earlier today about a colleague of mine who I loathe, who behaved as if I owed him a job in television when I was working in a position to be hiring. And I said to him, the fact is that whenever I hired anybody from comics to work in TV, when I was working on shows, I always had to rewrite them from the top, from every step, because there was no understanding of the franchising experience. That working in low budget television, you're writing about 42 and a half minutes, and you've got to spend as little time as possible on anybody other than your cast and your sets. And it was a lesson hard learned. The television I worked in no longer exists. I mean, I watch a lot of TV. I wrapped up the House of Guinness last night. A couple of nights ago, I wrapped up Black Rabbit, and that's the sort of stuff I watch. I do not watch SF or fantasy or any of that stuff. It just doesn't interest me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I may watch Alien Earth. Curious about
that. Was great if you're into the Alien franchise.
I've heard great and I've heard terrible, but I'm willing to give. I hated Legion so much, but I'm willing to give Noah Hawley a shot. And also, he's got Timothy Olyphant, who I really love.
Yeah,
I love my wife. I like Timothy Olyphant. I love my wife.
He kind of steals the show.
Well, that's what he does. You know, I mean, he's doing that since Go. You know, the Doug what's his name picture? Doug Lyman? Doug Hyman? The guy who did the Firstborn picture. Doug Lyman.
Yeah, I think Doug Lyman.
Go is, if you haven't seen Go, you really owe it to yourself to see that. Timothy Olyphant, the kid from Party of Five, the girl from that 70s show. It's about one night in Los Angeles with a dope deal that goes badly, and it runs through the culture. It's great. It's a great picture.
Mm-hmm. Definitely look into it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. My wife and I are watching Wayward right now. If you're looking for something, sorry,
is that worth seeing? It's on my list. It's on my watch list.
Yeah, it's we're at the point, we're halfway through, and it's like, you know, it is so bizarre, but we want to finish it, you know.
See, I started the first episode, but I haven't gone deeper yet.
It gets dark. It gets dark. And yeah.
Has anybody seen Countdown?
No.
Is it good?
No idea. I'm curious. It's again, it's one of the. I tend to bank shows. I don't watch that till it's all down. Because I don't like watching movie.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Peacemaker to finish so I can watch that.
I saw the first episode and really loved it. The season. But I watched. I was away, and I really love seeing. I love what Gunn is doing there. I really do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Howard, I agree. Like for me, I have this weird aversion when a show is just very popular, overly hyped, because people are like, oh, it's so good, and I'm like, is it though? Is it? Like if I already want to watch it, it's good. But if a lot of people are coming, I'm like, I'm gonna wait for when I'm ready. Like I'm gonna see it on my time. I don't want to like, oh, you gotta watch this. It's so amazing. I'm like, are you sure?
I mean, thing is, the last thing I watched weekly was I watched the most recent season of Fargo, and I really regretted it because it was a phenomenal season. John Hamm and Juno Temple were astonishing on the show, and I really would much rather have watched it in a single week, just watching it as reading a popular novel. So
yeah, that's basically what Jar's doing, is that he's just waiting till it's all ready and you can just watch it in one shot instead of being like us waiting every week.
My memory is not very good either, so waiting that long, I'm always like, I don't remember.
Like I said, I finished House of Guinness last night, and that's with a cliffhanger. The next season's not going to be on for at least another 18 months, 2 years. Yeah, I'm going to have to remember. Shit, fuck that. That's insane. You know.
John Hamm also just did Friends and Neighbors, which was really good. Yeah,
I loved it. Again, I thought that it didn't seem to be going anywhere for a second season, and then that last shot sold me the idea that there's definitely a second season available there if they wanted to do it. I love that show.
I think if you haven't seen it yet, one of the things that most of us, I think, have watched or are watching is Evil. I think it was only 3 seasons, wasn't it?
All of it. I saw the entire series. I watched it in the first place. I didn't much go for it because I'm not much fan of that supernatural stuff. But I like the King's work a great deal. I like both. I love The Good Wife and The Good Fight. Elsbeth is more annoying. I watch it anyway. But I watched Evil because I like Mike what's his name, and I dug the show. I found Michael Emerson a little one note and over the top, a little too much. But again, when Andrea Martin came on the show, it really rocked for me, and I stayed with it. I didn't love it. I liked it.
I'm on the second season now, and I'm kind of like, there's parts of this that I'm a little bit like, heh.
Well, like I said, I stayed with it till the end. It becomes kind of absurdist. But I like the King's works a great deal. I ran into Christian Borle at a convention some months back, and I'm a huge musical theater guy, and Borle is just a god of musical theater, and he's the guy who plays the sleazy attorneys on the King stuff, and said that the best work he did on TV was for the Kings, and they get good work out of people. So that's that. Yeah, I dug that.
Speaking of, because me and Carrie are both musical theater fans. But before we get to that, there's someone that had a question. Stefan Blitz said, "Did you ever?" Yeah,
Mighty Love was a pilot, and yes, as was Century West. Both of them. They originally started as pilots, and ended up doing them elsewhere. So there you go.
Okay. But yeah, my question was that like I said, me and Carrie are big musical theater fans, and these two can attest that very frequently there's breaking into song and dance. But speaking of, so you mentioned ragtime and such, did you have any yourself? Do you have any favorites? And there was an article recently talking about how Broadway, I guess over the last couple of years, has been really suffering. A lot of well-acclaimed Tony Award-winning shows and whatnot are closing because the sales aren't there, while some that are a little bit more, let's say, pop culture or commercialized are making it up. The
lumberingness of. Well, I go to New York a couple of times a year. I see a lot of stuff, and I see touring companies with my grandson. I took my grandson to New York in July for his birthday for theater, and as I said, when I was back in August, I saw Just in Time with Jonathan Groff. I saw When It Is a Social Club, and saw O'Meara. And I mean, a lot of stuff that I really love doesn't seem to find any traction. I mean, for example, I thought that the musical version of Some Like It Hot with Borle was really, really good, and it found no traction. And the same was true with Tootsie with Santino Fontana, a terrific show. Just great. I mean, really swell. But I also, I saw the current production of Cabaret 3 times. I saw it twice in New York and once in London. And I hear that I don't understand how that show could have lost money, because they doubled the size of the auditorium. They eliminated the backstage.
Right.
And the show is closing with an enormous deficit. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits there associated with that. I don't quite understand it. I really liked the production a great deal. I thought it was a very, very edgy and risk-taking take on the material. I mean, I've seen a lot of the productions of the show. And this bore no resemblance whatsoever to the earlier stuff. But I also, I mean, I saw just before the lockdown, I saw the Daniel Fish production of Oklahoma, which I went in expecting to hate and really loved it, but knew full well that the show would tank really hard unless it was in a very intimate space as it was there in Circle in the Square.
Right.
So the Circle in the Square has been rebuilt recently to add far more seating. They built bleacher seating onto the walls for the Jonathan Groff thing, which is fantastic. Right. Groff is a force of nature. If you've only seen Jonathan Groff on Mindhunters, you've not seen the lightning bolt that he is on stage. It's kind of like Annalee Ashford. I mean, Annalee Ashford was Mrs. Lovett in opposite Josh Groban in this most recent production of Sweeney Todd.
Amazing.
And she was the most interesting Lovett I'd ever seen in my life. And none of that comes through on screen. None of that. Like Norbert Leo Butz is another one. On stage is explosive, and none of that comes through on screen for me, at least.
Yeah.
Groff, on the other hand, does come through on screen. His work on Mindhunters, his work in Stealing Woodstock, he's fantastic.
Oh, I recently saw Cabaret. I think like at least a month or two ago, and I never.
The current production.
Yeah.
Who would you see it in New York?
Yeah.
Who was playing the Master of Ceremonies?
I would think it was the EMC. You're talking the EMC, right? The MC. Yeah. It was Orville Peck.
Oh, was he good at that? Was he good?
He was fantastic. Yeah. I went in blind. I never saw any other productions besides the occasion. Yeah. Yeah. I was told that like that's probably the best way. I mean, sometimes, I'll see another. Like the only time I ever saw anything of Cabaret was like snippets that it showed up in like a movie or like TV. Like I remember there was like a snippet in a 2000 movie called Loser, and then there was
there's no resemblance whatsoever to any other version.
Yeah,
I saw with Eddie Redmayne and Gail Rankin, and my own credit, I didn't see it in the original London production with Jesse Buckley. I'd love to have seen Jesse Buckley, But what else did you see when you were in town?
Yeah, but I thought it was amazing. Like the house band was great. I will admit I am a sucker for an accordion, so I loved that. The performances were fantastic. He did great. I knew nothing of him coming in, about his career, his being a masked country singer. Nothing, but he was great, and of course the political parallels of what they were dealing with in the show to some of what we're dealing with these days. It was very great. So to hear that it's closing and there's deficits and lawsuits, I mean that's such a shame because it was fantastic.
I mean, because it was always a packed house, and they doubled the audience because I was both times I saw it in New York City, I was sitting in the backstage, backstage on one side of the circle.
Right. Yeah. But yeah.
We spent an hour talking about musical theater.
The only one I knew out of those things was Sweeney Todd. I was like, hey, I've seen that one. They made a movie.
The movie is unwatchable.
Jar Jar, just admit it. You know Sweeney Todd from Bugs Bunny.
Probably that too, yes.
But I did have another common question, but I don't know if any of you had any.
My kid got me to watch Hamilton. I have to say, it was interesting.
Hamilton is for white people who to assuage their guilt.
Oh, damn.
I did have another common question, but I know Carrie, Leo, Jar, did you have any others? I don't want to,
I did want to mention, first of all, let me say happy birthday on October 7th. We share the same birthday.
Wow.
You're 28 years my elder, but we're still there together.
You're also a Van Morrison fan?
No, not so much.
I'm
not a hater or anything. I just don't know much by him.
He's an awful person, but I love the catalog. It is a marvelous night for a moon dance. It's a marvelous night for a
I know
moon
that
dance.
song.
Yeah,
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
very nice, sir.
Unlike you, I
thanks.
have a very horrible voice.
Not with that
Cat-
attitude.
Cats scream. They're just like, "Ah."
Well, Drew, you said you had another question there. We are coming up on time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'll
probably a couple
make it
questions.
very quick. So Howard, one other thing that I wanted to ask is that I know you worked in like the 2010s. You worked with Brian Michael Bendis on a story in the New Avengers where you were introduced a different Avengers team. It was like a 1959 Avengers for my Nick Fury hunting like remnants of Nazi Germany. It was like Fury, Dominic Fortune, Dugan, Namora, Silver Sable, Sabretooth, Craven, and Ulysses Bloodstone. And I know you did a follow-up series with them. I was reading that, and I remember always really enjoying, because I thought, wow, this is great. Like, again, you think just the original Avengers, and then you have this other team that's very unconventional, kind of clandestine Nazi hunters, which was awesome. So working on that with Bendis and then kind of getting the spin off, what was that like?
It was a job of work. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I was grateful. I mean, the reason that the series that I did happen was Brian was a fan. And I love doing it. I mean, when I work for the mainstream comics, I always give them the best effort I can possibly bring to it, because that's part of your job. I mean, there's no, you don't stint just because you don't own it. And I love doing that stuff, again, because it's period material. I love doing period stuff. But I did a Dominic Fortune Max series, and I was really disappointed that they didn't go for the sequel, which I wanted to do. Dominic Fortune during the Spanish Civil War thing. I wanted to play with that. This Marvel Lost Marvels came out with some Dominic Fortune stuff. It's a miserably designed piece of shit of a book, and I wrote the introduction that they would not use, because I knew it wasn't going to be published, and I said in the introduction, I hate when anybody else writes these characters but me. I really do. I just don't care because their voice is just wrong. But I had a good time doing it. That was probably the last major job I did at Marvel. And the phone stopped ringing.
Oh, that sucks. That was a great story.
Maybe it just burned a bridge. Who can really say?
No, perish the thought.
Is there any mainstream character that you do wish you had a shot at?
No,
not
really. I've done whatever. I mean, they're not really characters. They're empty vessel plot devices that become the channel for a writer to impose. I mean, recently I pissed some people off by saying how stupid we thought the Green Lantern, Green Arrow stuff was back in the 70s, because it was just really nonsense. We were all stoners and we're like, get the fuck out of here with this shit, But I mean, whatever. It's just not very good. But no, not really. I mean, when I was a kid, I'd love to have done this. I'd love to have done that. But once I became a working professional, I learned that my skill set wasn't up to doing the best work in the service of that material. And when ultimately my skill set caught up with me enough to be a journeyman in that regard, then I just lost my interest in doing it.
I have a quick yes/no question, and this is just because of your pop culture stuff. And I was, like you said, you challenge your readers, and I wanted to look things up. And I might pronounce this wrong. Is the cat Mehetabel based on Archie and Mehetabel by Don Marquis from the Evening Sun?
Not really, but I love Don Marcus's stuff. I love that work so much. Okay. Yeah, Archie and Mehetabel. Yeah. The original drawings by George Herman, but the stories are written by a guy named Don Marquis. But I'm American; I can pronounce the way I choose. I knew that, So, but no, not really. I mean, I had a cat named Cochise who was had a certain insolence that informed me, and I had a real when I did FLAGG in 1982, starting it up. I just want to do a kitchen sink. Everything that interested me: lingerie, underwear, dirty jokes, pornography, and cats.
It's a good
So-
list.
Well done.
From what you wrote in the omnibus, I love the origin of how you came up with Black Kiss. Like it was just running into somebody that you thought you knew and it being like, oh no, this is just somebody who is a crossdresser that looks a lot like my ex or ex-friend. And so how,
It was
I mean, it was just a note and then it just turned into this huge thing. And like you said, it's so smutty and so filthy, but it's so lovely. And it has like, I'm going to sound like that guy who buys Playboys, but I did enjoy the story as well as all of the smut. that
The
was in there.
articles, I swear.
Like not just the articles. I fully embraced the filth as well, but it was.
I wanted to look filthy and read filthy too. You know, I mean, I just and look, I mean, it didn't make me a lot of friends. It didn't create a groundswell of enthusiasm on the part of my colleagues, and it pointed me in understanding that the future was not going to be friendly to me, because I just don't care about the things that most mainstream comic book talent care about. You know, I mean, I'm on Facebook all day because I'm working and I seek to distract myself. And I see these people getting into these discussions about their favorite Batman villain. I mean, please kill me now and avoid the rush. Enough with this. You know, it's this is what entertained you when you were 12, and you're still holding on to your boyhood. I didn't like my boyhood that much. You know, comics got me through my boyhood. But when I reached manhood, I realized it was time, as you know, to put away childish things.
I was just about to say that. Like I knew. Yeah,
I got that first.
We
Muddy
have
Water.
a question here. The new Lost Marvels collection with Howard's work is great. The Dominic Fortune Max series is there. Any chance of a new historical adventure comic devoted to the Spanish Civil War, devoid of Marvel characters?
No. But I'm an old person, so I have no idea how much work I have left in me. I just don't know. I've been passing around with a story that takes place during the Russian Revolution, about revenge of an emigre, a child who left Russia before in 1900, who ends up returning to Russia to enact revenge on a white Russian in the middle of the revolution. And I have no idea whether it'll ever happen. And again, commercial gold it ain't. You know, the audience for my work is tiny. As a friend of mine said to me, my audience is wide but shallow. You know, so I got nothing. You know, but no, not likely. I mean, I just lope along. You know, I'm hoping this tenement job encourages them to do another piece, but I'd very much like to do. Because if you have the Tenement Museum in New York City is a beautiful place to visit, and there's an Italian family that I'd love to do their story as well, to the 1930s. So that would be something I'd love to do. But I got nothing else on my desk right now, and I have no idea whether. I mean, I look. My wife. People ask my wife when I'm going to retire, and her answer is always that she'll know I'm retired when she hears my head hit my desk, and there's no noise of pain from me that I'm dead. You know. I mean, I'm really lucky. I have a blessed life, and that's really true. I'm the luckiest son of a.
Agreed. Okay.
Okay. When you were initially doing all of your art, you had like all of the old tools out and stuff. You did all your pencils, inks, and everything. I think you were using like the Zipatone from way back in the day that isn't really used much anymore. I know they revolutionized the coloring of Time Squared. You didn't do that. That was some of the people. But what are the tools that you use now? Are you still on paper and boards and stuff? Or
Yeah, I do my figures and my backgrounds on separate sheets and combine them in Photoshop, so that they're separate elements. I mean, I just sold a large chunk of the original artwork from Black Kiss. And it's all the little bits and pieces. The panels themselves are separate. The figure work. I mean, let me see if shall I show you one? I mean,
please. That would be amazing. Yeah, we're gonna say no. Don't show us.
I mean, for
please,
example,
not original art.
this is what one of them looks like. This is
Wow.
that's what,
Look at that. That's fantastic.
so that's the sort of thing I'm doing there. So that's how I work these days. I've been working that way since 2002, 2003.
Mhm.
It's been a very effective way to get work done from a production perspective.
Okay. Well, keep up the good work.
Very cool.
You know. Mhm.
Well,
I-
we
well,
are at time.
yes.
Yes.
So
I hate to run, but
no
it's
worries.
I'm an old person. I've been up since well before dawn, and as Woody Allen always said, the idea is to get through the obstacles, get home on time and have dinner by 6.
Yes. And then walk the dogs.
I gotta go feed my wife. I've got to walk my dogs. Yeah,
understood. Okay.
We very much appreciate that you joined us tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful for this. It's always nice to have people to talk to people who care about what I care about. And stay well and dry and all of you. And I'll see you all on campus, I'm guessing, sooner rather than later.
Well,
yeah.
you
I'll
can't
have
take
a review of Go for you by then.
I'm in Greensboro next weekend. I'll be in Baltimore. I'll be in Cincinnati and Grand Rapids. So check in with me. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Howard. You have a
Thank
good
you,
rest of the night.
Be well.
Usual.
Well, guys.
And when you're ready, just a red button right on the bottom.
I'm in.
Oh, he's stuck with us. What an ominous laugh as he was leaving.
Yeah, that's the true Howard Chaykin way of exiting. All right.
Oh,
Well, hold on. Wait, I can do this. Well, that was awesome. Wait. I'm sorry. I did that wrong. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. That was awesome. But stay tuned for more. Did I do it right, Leo? Felt a little pitchy.
You did. Well, while we're on you, who do we got next week?
Oh, yeah.
What do we got next week? Oh, that's a good question. Hi, everybody. If you're asking if I'm prepared, the answer is nope. That's what happens when someone puts you on the spot.
PKJ.
Is it? Oh, is it? Okay, right.
Is it?
Thank you, Carrie. That was a wonderful act of ventriloquism there. It sounded just like Carrie, but it was me. But yeah, so everybody, this is our last show of September. But don't be sad because we have a full lineup. We have all of our spots for Tuesdays in October booked. And we are so psyched because we have the great Philip Kennedy Johnson will be coming back on the show. We're going to get him right before New York Comic Con. And we are super excited, especially, I know Carrie's more excited than me, but it's okay. It's not a competition. Carrie's winning though. But we are so excited. We're definitely going to talk to him about some of the things he's working on, including the upcoming launch of Infernal Hulk, which looks amazing. So very excited. And like I said, we have a bunch of great guests coming up. So you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because stay tuned. We got
Plus, you want to
yeah.
get us to 1,000 listeners. Come on, hit the subscribe button. Don't just
more
listen.
People.
So he's next week?
Next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
I'll have to freshen up.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to. Yeah, no, you're definitely going to have to cut your hair, Beaker.
I got a haircut last week.
Yeah, well, clearly he was blind. I didn't realize Matt Murdock was giving out cuts. But yeah, so Carrie, did you want to go over any Kickstarter stuff, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I can. We'll go through the two that I have up real quick.
Okay,
guys, this time I was cutting out pictures, and after like 40, I stopped and was just like, no, I'm just going to show the page. This is another Were They. Oh, it's Carissa. Carissa Grant from Were They Chaos.
Okay.
She breaks Kickstarter because she does so many optional add-ons and things that like you can only have like 100 that it will show.
Does she have
Until
plushies for every character now?
She is
Just
so
about, yeah.
ambitious for someone so tiny.
And so here's I'm just gonna open this up. Carissa does. There's Worthy Chaos Redemption,
Mhm.
and that's what this one is. So can you guys see? I'm off on
Yeah.
my own little world now.
1 through
Okay.
15 now, huh?
Yeah. So, and
Ooh.
she's already pillaged 101 backers. Oh, there's only 45 hours to go, but I'm going to kind of zoom through. Here's some of the redemption stuff. And these are all the different covers that she has coming on. I think they're all great. This is the main
the
series.
art has
And
really come along since the beginning.
yeah, here's some of the interior. And this is the horror series that goes on, and it has the Anubis and the Hellhound and stuff, and that's just really fun. And then Devastation, she has 1 through 3 out right now, and those are her westerns. It's still the same characters, but they're set in a western thing, and they go and hunt cryptids. And so there are the covers for those. Now, these are some of the cool things that she's added on more recently. She has this journal. It's a cryptid journal, and you first buy the journal itself, and then you'll get cryptid pages and stickers that you can order the backlog of if you haven't gotten them before, so that you can add on and keep up with all of the different cryptids that Sarah encounters. And it's really neat. It's how they are in her world, so they might not be exactly the same, but as you can see, there's the Wendigo, Bigfoot, Bastet, Tatzelworm, Mothman, Jersey Devil, Phoenix Crow, Anubis, Chupacabra, Jackalope, Squonk, Dragon Plant, and more. Yeah, and that jackalopes, we have those out here in the Midwest. But
me, you'll never catch me.
They're
No,
super
nobody?
pretty.
Get out.
So this is her latest thing.
I got
Thanks, Leo.
You're welcome.
Hey. This is Carrie's time.
Sorry.
Cool your shenanigans and focus.
I can't see you guys, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
They're
yeah.
being silly.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this page. So this is her latest thing, and it's these little it's a box that you can get special. You don't have to buy the box to get these little cryptid jars, but they're starting. There's going to be 18 of them, and she makes them. There puts an ingredient in them, and they're these little glass jars she hand does. There's a list that it is put on burn paper of something, and that has something to do with the storyline. But the box is set up to hold all the different jars as well as the journal, and that's going to be a limited purchase, I believe, but you can get everything caught up there. And then we're going to get into, these are all the different covers you can do. I'm kind of zooming because I want to get to where the kind of fun things are, because you can get different ones of those. You can do a lot of catch-up tiers. You can get a chameleon he's a chatty chameleon vampire plushie. Comes with some of the stuff, all the different covers. There's the Anubis. I have this one and that sticker. I don't have the pin yet though. Bastet, who I also have, and I can make them both wield lightsabers. This is the Hellhound. And Anubis and the Hellhound play fetch sometimes, but these are kind of cool. She has some glow in the dark covers. By this, there's only 10 of them. Numbered PDFs of all covers you get it. It looks normal, but it will glow green. There's a bunch of different coins. I'll get to those in a second because there's a foily one, a metal cover, and then like glowing metal covers. And one is blue and one is green.
The 90s are just
orange.
insane.
Yeah, but it's fun. And then there's
no, I agree. I love it. I'm
I do
very
too.
nostalgic
But
for
we're
that
not
kind of stuff.
crashing like the 90s. That's the crazy
embossed, fucking
yeah.
The metal we didn't have back in the 90s, but the glow in the dark and embossed and all that stuff. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, these are a bunch of the Ivan Tao covers that she has. There's some of them in metal, as glowing metal. which is super fun. Going back, okay, here's some of the plushies. Here are the coins that you can get. They're different omnibus coins for add-ons. Here's the box again. I'm going to skip through some of the covers because we've seen these. Oh, coloring pages you can get for both Redemption and Devastation. Going through some of these. Stickers. A lot of enamel pins that are just super cute. A lot of different stickers for the creatures and from both series. Metal bookmarks. And now we get to the plushies, and these are awesome. Here's the Mothman, the Wendigo. This little guy, I think he's just, oh, that's it for Wendigo. I'm not sure which one this one is. I think it's the Jersey Devil. I'm not positive. Here's your little jackalope. Here's a Cerberus, Cthulhu, the Hellhound. And then we go into metal trading cards, and all of these. She's selling art. Okay, so that's, if you want to shrink that down for a second, I'll come back over there. That is what we have from Carissa going on right now, and there's only 2 days left for that, and she's going to keep updating new ones. Like Carissa almost always has a Kickstarter going. If you follow her or Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter, you'll always get the news and stuff. And she's always reaching out on Facebook and stuff too, to have people say like, hey, help me decide how I'm going to do the covers. Help me decide what plushie to make. Which one of these do you like best? She's even got like this giant Bigfoot one. I don't know if there are any left in stock, but it's pretty cool. Plushie, that is.
She also does her own podcast, right? Or
yes.
Something like
that.
And
she does one that corresponds with something else that I do, so I'm never able to join her, but she helps promote a lot of other Kickstarter people as well. They all kind of work together. But yeah, so Chris is doing great. And then the other one that we were talking about, when we had Frank go on, you can, he's got 8 days left to go. And if you want to pull it up, I'm not sure if you are or not, because I left again. But the greatest little luchador ever. The thing about this is it is an all ages comic, which means it is for adults as well as children, but there aren't a lot of children on Kickstarter. So it's a platform that's kind of hard to work out for something that people are thinking of as a kid's comic. He's got 8 days left to go on this, and they're about 2/3 of the way there. But this is the greatest little luchador ever. It's Lucha Libre. Angel,
which is Spanish for wrestling.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is some stuff that we have by Franco, and it's a superhero wrestler. Well, and it's set up for a kid, and but it's got some really cool artwork and some different people with like little confrontations, but it's still kid friendly. The shipping initially was a little messed up. It looked like you were going to be paying for extra shipping, but if you go to there and you are making a pledge, it might say like $10 per item. It's not. It's like they ship it all together. There was just the way it was set up was a little wonky. But here are the different covers that you got. You can, of course, Artie there. And this is a Kickstarter exclusive cover. And yeah, you can get a 5x7-inch mini print. So go ahead, and they're working at getting things open so you can get some stretch goals, but they aren't quite there yet. But go ahead and go on there, look up for the greatest little luchador ever, and give them some love because it's going to be awesome.
And
it looks like a great book.
Go ahead.
No, I was done.
I was just going to say, you can trust in Franco for your kids. Like, he's been doing kid-friendly stuff for, what, 20 years? Something ridiculous.
Something like that, yeah.
Leo,
but
you're muted, Leo.
Sorry. I was just going to say, this is a great one, if you're a parent and want to read to your kids.
Yeah.
It's a fun read. We read it a couple weeks back, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great.
It's definitely suited for kids, but yeah, for us big kids, it was fun.
It's still good.
It's quick too. It doesn't
yeah,
on.
But Carrie, that's pretty much it, right? That was the two.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
right,
there will be some more coming up, but those were the big ones I wanted to give a focus to right now.
Okay. Well,
So-
I don't think there's anything else. So I don't know, Leo, do you want to just sign us off and we call it a night?
Yeah, we'll wrap it.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know me, you know how to find me, but more importantly, follow these awesome individuals here. Head on over to, check out our YouTube page. We have a lot of great stuff there. And also, if you go to our website, Justin has a new article going over TMNT Godzilla #1. Awesome article there. And let's throw it on over to Jar Jar.
Hey, end of show. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a TikTok. I don't post anything on there, but I'll follow you if you follow me. I don't mind that stuff. And also check out my wife's candles at Mad Crone on the TikToks and stuff, and all of her other witchy stuff. Look at that. I did my husbandly duty.
Yep. Now you can go walk the dog.
Yep.
Gary.
I agree. Go check out his wife's candles. They are awesome. If you want to find me, look up Carrie Sanders on Facebook. All of my links are there. I write some things. You can find links to that. I'm on the Owlite Network as well. You can find some links to that. I am on all of the socials, and I post on Facebook and occasionally Blue Sky. I have never made a TikTok post or an Insta post, and I think I've reposted like 4 things on what is now X in my life. But I have accounts there. I just don't do anything with them whatsoever. So there you go. Find me on Facebook.
I think that's a whole Gen X kind of thing. We just
It's weird.
Yeah.
don't understand social media.
It's not that we don't understand. We realize a lot of it's crap.
Yeah.
Why can I only put a certain amount of characters into a message?
Guys,
I
we're-
would actually like to make a statement, and it's like, oh, I have to cut it.
Guys.
Sorry, Drew.
Oh shit, it's
Thank
true.
Yes. I'm still here. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed our time with Howard. We definitely did. And we'll definitely see about having him on sometime next year as well, But if you need to follow these people, check all of them out and their respective partners as well on whatever social media platforms they're on. If you need to follow me or talk to me, I'm Drew Malo at Facebook, Ghostbusterman 1984 on Instagram, Drew Malo on Blue Sky. Generally, there's a lot going on in my world. So just if you hit me up, I'll get back to you eventually.
I love your little the other ectoplasmic man. I remember. Yeah, good quote.
Subtle. But yeah, so like I said, please everybody hit the like and subscribe button if this is your first time with us. We appreciate all followers, and check us out next week for PKJ. Other than that, I don't know. Tomorrow is October 1st, so countdown to Halloween and Carrie's birthday.
All the
So at 11:59, are you going to wake up when September ends?
Wait, that's Green
Thank
Day.
you so much and good night. Thank you so much
Be
and
well,
good night.
everybody.
I like
Good
your
night.
response earlier to that, Drew.
Thank you.
He's on holiday.
Thank you. He's on holiday, you American idiot.